What's up everybody, welcome back to the Chug Nerd YouTube channel. Today we're going to be checking out everybody's starter guitar, this Squier Affinity Stratocaster. Let's take a look at it. Alright, what is up everybody? Big welcome back to the Chug Nerd YouTube channel. My name is DJ, I'm a guitarist from the southwest of the UK. I've been playing guitar for about 20 years or so at this point. I play in a groovecore band called HollowKin. We're pretty heavy with a sprinkling of melody thrown in from time to time. If you feel like checking us out, there's some links down below in the description. I've been doing this YouTube thing now for a little over 1 year. I'm having the absolute best time. I've loved everything about this last year I've spent on YouTube. It's been so fun connecting with new people, new guitarists out on YouTube land. So if you feel like coming along for the journey, supporting a small channel like this, then hit subscribe. That would be absolutely killer. Leaving a comment, dropping a like, or even touching that little hype button and leaving some hype points. That goes an incredibly long way in helping a small channel like this to grow and reach new eyes and new ears. With all that being said, we are here to check out this right here. This is a Squier Affinity Stratocaster from the early 2000s. Of course, it's got a couple of modifications, which we'll check out in just a second. But before we do all of that, let's see how she sounds in a full demo mix. Full disclosure, this guitar is on loan to me. I haven't had it for a huge amount of time and I really had to rush this demo together, so lower your expectations. This is not my finest work, but if you're going to enjoy it, then that's sick. But I just wanted to warn you, it's a very straightforward song, but it examples exactly what this guitar can do in a mix. So let's roll it and then we'll check out some specs. Hey everybody, it's DJ and Editing here. I just wanted to really quickly explain that I accidentally made a boo-boo and deleted the footage of me filming the lead section at the part of this song. I'm not going to go back through and mime and disingenuously record it. So I did record it, there's just no footage of me doing it, so you just have to enjoy the rhythm section at the start of me strumming some open chords. Just wanted to explain that real quick, just in case you wondered where the footage of me doing the lead part was, if anybody cares. Anyway, back to the demo. So specifications for this guitar are going to be pretty simple. I did do a little bit of research to try and get the most accurate specs for this guitar because, like I said, this is an early 2000s Squier Stratocaster. So this is made in China. It's made in the Yakko factory. We've got either an alder or a poplar body on this. We've got a poplar neck with, I believe, a rosewood fingerboard. It's got a slim C shape to the neck and we've got a 9.5-inch radius across the fretboard. This particular guitar has got a vintage tremolo bridge on it. It's one of the ones with all 6 screws in the bridge affixing it to the body. I don't have the whammy bar for it, so we're just going to ignore that for today. It would have come with either 3 ceramic single coil pickups, or it might have come with a humbucker and a single coil in the middle and neck positions. I'm not 100% sure, but as you can see, we actually now have a rather tasty EMG passive single coil humbucker size pickup in the bridge, which we'll get onto in just a moment. Everything else on this guitar is pretty standard for what you'd expect for a guitar in that kind of 200 to 250 pound price point. We've got a plastic nut and some pretty basic tuners, which are just going to be Squier's own brand in-house run-of-the-mill tuners. So this guitar does not belong to me, but that doesn't mean this video is sponsored at all. This belongs to a buddy of mine by the name of Joe. He's in a band called Start the Sirens. They're a pop punk kind of band that rehearse at my studios, and he's very kindly lent me this guitar for us to check out together. This is a very cool, entry-level, budget-friendly, beginnery kind of guitar that I think I'd go as far as to say most of us have owned an Affinity Strat or Tele or something similar in our lives, and I'd probably take a swing and say that we've all had it as probably our first guitar. They are excellent introductory guitars for new guitarists. They make fantastic mod platforms. They're just really well put together, easy to modify guitars that play really nicely, do exactly what they need to do without any of the bells and whistles, and they're just great workhorse kind of guitars. Signal chain for today's video is going to be identical to always, so we can always keep a fair comparison between all the guitars that we're checking out here on the Chug Nerd YouTube channel. We're going to be taking the guitar, that's a Squier Affinity Stratocaster, into my Focusrite Scarlett Solo interface. That's going to be going into GarageBand on my MacBook Pro. In GarageBand, I've got the Soldano SLO100 plugin loaded up, and in the Neuro DSP plugin, it's just a bunch of patches that I've made up myself for clean, ambient, drive, and lead tones that I enjoy myself, so hopefully you enjoy them as well. This guitar obviously isn't in its original form at this point. Like I mentioned in that little spec rundown, we've got an EMG H pickup. So that's a single coil ceramic pickup, but it's in a humbucker housing. Joe put this in because he's in a pop punk band and his #1 guitar is actually a butterscotch Fender Mexican Tele that I had featured on the channel not too long ago. I'll leave a link up above in the cards. And this guitar is his backup. But he found it sounded quite different to his Tele, so he changed it out. He's got the EMG Tele pickups in his Tele, so he's now got the single coil bridge pickup in this guitar. So he calls it his Tom DeLonge Strat, because obviously it's designed to look a bit like a Tom DeLonge single pickup guitar, but it's a bit different to what Tom uses. But it's a very cool sounding guitar. I'm gonna do a separate video on this pickup because I think it deserves its own video because it's a really cool pickup. So I'm gonna focus today on the playability more than anything else and kind of the fit and overall finish of the guitar. So I've played a bunch of Affinity Strats and Teles in my time. They've always been great. They've always been easy to play, super accessible necks. They're not thick, they're not too thin. They're kind of that Goldilocks sweet spot right in the middle. They're just right for like everybody. They're like a generic one-size-fits-all kind of shape to the neck. They're very comfortable to play. They're not particularly shreddy. They're not particularly leaned towards any one particular style of rhythm or lead or anything like that. They're just a good overall across the board kind of shape. That being said, the fretboard being 9.5 inches on the radius probably leans itself more into someone who's going to be playing more rhythm, learning chords and bits and pieces than anything else. But of course, playing leads and doing solo bits on it is easy peasy as well. The appointments on this guitar are exactly what you would expect. There are no frills to any of this. It's all very basic stuff, but that's not a knock on the guitar. It fits the price point that it sits in. The tuners, they aren't brilliant. I had to tune this a lot while I was playing this guitar for this video, but that's what you'd expect for this kind of price point of guitar. This is set up in drop D, and I did a couple of the sound clips in standard as well. And yeah, it did go out of tune quite a lot, but again, I think you expect that for a guitar in this price point. You can help yourself with the tuning by doing some simple fixes like lubricating the nut with some graphite from like a mechanical pencil. That would just help the strings slide through the nut slots a little bit easier and just help with that tuning stability. You could go as far as to upgrade the tuners as well, maybe put some locking tuners on here. It's going to be an investment, but it would improve the overall kind of playability and reliability of the guitar. Joe's also put some strap locks on this, so we got the shallow upgraded strap locks up here. So they are my favorite kind of strap locks. I use them on most of my guitars. An excellent little quality of life upgrade for someone who plays standing up a lot like Joe or like myself. We're both in bands, so we're on stage a lot. So having that security of knowing your guitar's not going to fall off you mid-set, that's quite a bonus. And yeah, that's definitely something that I would do if I was going to start upgrading this guitar. Of course, we can't comment on how this is out of the box because it's like over 20 years old at this point. But one cool thing we can do is see how it's held up over the years. And I think that's an important thing to look at in a guitar video, because it's all well and good getting a nice fresh new guitar out of the box. But once it's out of the box, it doesn't really matter how it came out of the box, because you can give it to a luthier to get a good setup, or you can set it up yourself if you know what you're doing. So I think it's really cool when you can check out a guitar like this that has been through the ringer, and you can tell it has because it's been loved, it's been played, it's been modified, and it's really cool that you can see a guitar that's over 20 years old, that is a budget entry-level guitar that's held up as well as this has. The frets are still in pretty good condition. They're not brilliant. There's some flat spots on them where they've been played and enjoyed, so it could probably do with a refret in the years to come, but otherwise it's held up really, really well. The original bridge is still in good shape. The original nut is still doing exactly what it needs to do, and the tuners, although they're not great, they still do what they do as well. Everything's held up really, really well, and cosmetically too, it's held up just fine. It's great. The frets are still nicely set into the neck. Yeah, it's held up well for a 20-plus-year-old guitar that has been used a lot, especially considering it's only like a £200 guitar. It's held up incredibly well. So as I mentioned, I can't really comment on the overall kind of sound of this guitar from a brand new perspective, because this is going to sound different to how it sounded out of the box, in that we've got a new pickup and new electronics in it. I'm going to do, like I said, a separate video on this EMG pickup because I think it deserves it. It's a very cool pickup and it sounds great. It's only a single coil, which for a metal guy like me isn't ideal, but I think it sounds pretty meaty. It definitely cuts in a mix. I think it sounds pretty cool, and I think if you had this in a lower tuning with some thicker gauge strings on it, for someone like me, I think it could make some interesting kind of sounds. There isn't a huge amount to say about a Squier Affinity Stratocaster that hasn't been said a billion times by every single YouTuber on the planet up until this point. But it's a great solid guitar, and as Joe's proven with this one, this is a really good like mod platform. For him, it's a great backup guitar. I know he really enjoys playing it as well. And just overall, just if I was to kind of summarize it, it's a really good introductory guitar, a really good starter guitar. If you're looking to get into it, you're looking to pick one of these up because you're kind of thinking of dabbling in learning guitar, or you just want to get a Strat because you're not kind of sure if it's your vibe, you cannot go wrong with an Affinity Strat. You may need to give it to a luthier when you get it new, because this isn't new obviously, but you may need to give it to a luthier when you get it. They would set it up. A luthier is someone who repairs and maintains guitars. Most guitar shops will have contacts for luthiers, or you can find loads online as well, but they would do things like set your action, which is your string spacing from the fretboard. They might polish the frets because sometimes the frets come quite tarnished. They would do things like set the intonation on the saddles back here on the bridge, just to make sure that all the frets on the fretboard are in tune when you're fretting, and just give it a good setup and make sure it's the best guitar that it could possibly be. I think once you've done all of those things, you'll have a really cool little guitar that you can add to your collection or use as your introductory guitar or a starter guitar that's probably going to last you far longer than you think it's going to last, because like I said, this is from the early 2000s and we're in 2026 now, so this has held up really, really well, and I think that's pretty standard for all Affinity Strats. They're just built really, really well. So I think that's probably just about going to do it for today's video. There's not much more I can say about these guitars. They're great introductory guitars, they're great learner guitars, and as Joe has proven, they make great mod platforms as well. There's bits and pieces on it that are great, it plays well, the fit and finish is really, really good, but there's bits on it that you may want to upgrade in time, but it's not necessary out of the box. Out of the box, or as it is, it's fine. It's a great guitar. If you've enjoyed today's video, like I said, a comment, like, subscribe, or hitting that hype button goes a really, really long way. Let me know your thoughts on this guitar down in the comments section. And most importantly, let's see how many of you have had, owned, or played Affinity Strats or Tellys or whatever in the past. That would be really interesting to know if you've had an Affinity Strat or anything like that before, because I think most guitarists have owned or had one of these at some point in their playing careers. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video, everybody. I really appreciate you being here and hanging out with me today. Hopefully I'll catch you again in another video very soon. Take care until then. In a bit.